Hello and welcome back. It's a little bit bittersweet that this is our last week, but one of the things that we're talking about this week is how we can continue to use what we've learned through these 5 weeks in an effort to stay connected. And hopefully you guys have all learned a bunch of tools to help you reconnect when you are feeling stuck or disconnected, and that will continue to serve you throughout, other times. I feel like sometimes we are doing great and we're, sailing along just wonderfully and we're having no problems, and then it never fails that we start thinking we can give up those morning writing or that time that we spend with our body or whatever that means for you in terms of reconnecting, and then we find ourselves back in that spot of kind of feeling like we've lost a little bit of the magic in our lives. So this is all about staying connected, and today I want to give you a few really concrete ways that you can integrate it in your life. So one of those that I don't know about you, but I'm somebody that if something is not on my calendar, it does not happen. And I'm always dumbfounded with how we will set appointments with other people, we will have meetings, we'll have lunches, and all of those we will stick to no matter what. We usually bend over backwards. We'll be racing across town to make it happen. But we usually let our self-care drop by the wayside and kind of push it to the bottom, and then it doesn't get done. And that's when we find ourselves kind of feeling stuck and disconnected, or just lackluster about our lives. So one of the big things that I want to encourage you all to do is look at your week ahead. And I try to do this at least once a week. I just got back from traveling earlier this week, and that was one of the first things I did. And in fact, yesterday, which was kind of almost like my Sunday because I've been traveling so much, it was my day, regardless of what day it is. You choose your day that works in your schedule. But at any time, really, if you kind of feel like you're sort of lost at sea, or you are needing just to kind of, reset and make sure that you get back on track, put it on your schedule. So I know for me, it helps if I even have a friend. So if you know that you're going to schedule a hike with somebody this weekend, or rather that you'd like to go on a hike, you can send that email now or send that text now and start getting that plan in place. But you put it on your calendar for you. And then that way you can even invite a few people and just see who shows up. But you're going to do that for you. So calendaring things is, to me, magical. And I feel like, the more you can really do that and then stick to it for yourself, it can be really powerful of just recognizing that you actually have choice in this, right? It's not left up to whim or anything, that you actually can put it in your schedule, make it happen, and take care of yourself in that way. So hopefully you guys can integrate some of that for you, however that looks for you, but it can be, get excited about it, have it be really specific. If you need to put something in there that actually states that, why you want to feel that way. If I want to say, stretch, this is going to make you feel so good and it's going to help you connect with your body, and kind of remind myself why that's on the calendar so that it's not just an order when that reminder pops up of 10 o'clock stretch. It's not so robotic, but instead I can remember how that's going to feed me. Another thing that I want to share with you guys is something that I shared in a talk here recently, which was titled Creative Life Hacks to Increase Productivity, Health, and Happiness. And a life hack is essentially a way that you can kind of recognize your rhythms in your life, and then how can you sort of work with that to kind of devise a plan to almost sneakily get you into a habit or getting you more productive or taking care of yourself. And one of the first things to know about life hacks is that they are best created when you are recognizing your own rhythms. So I feel like we've done a lot of work these last couple weeks for you guys all to sort of feel within yourself what works, what doesn't, where you're sort of having these stumbling blocks. But a really basic example of this rhythm is even just for myself, that I'm a total night owl. I have no problems really with the morning, but I notice that I'm way clearer. I like staying up and working on things. And so it's funny because Madie and I are very different in that way. She's not very much a night person. Quite frankly, she's actually not much of a morning person either. But I definitely can stay up way, way late and need less sleep. And so just recognizing your normal rhythms. And the reason why I say that is one of my life hacks is, and it's actually kind of a known thing, is to create your most important things, otherwise known as MITs. So set your MITs. Now you can do this for work, which is really helpful if you're an artist, if you're a freelancer, creative, even if you have a job, totally great. Each of us has at least 3 most important tasks in every day, and it can really help to get clear on helping you be really productive, on helping you really be really clear on the goals that you have set for the day, so that you don't have one of those days where you're just like, at the end of it, you're like, what did I do? Probably were on Facebook for a little bit. You probably were like in this loop of your inbox and you weren't really creating. And most important tasks are really such a great, helpful way for you to be like, when I write them down, I get excited about it. I'm like, wow, I'm gonna feel really good at the end of the day if I have these things knocked out. Now you can use those for work or your creativity, whatever that is, but I highly encourage you to use them for self-care. It doesn't have to be 3 of them. It can even just be 1, and maybe you combine the 2 of these things. But looking back at the rhythms, for example, I am very much a night owl, and I've talked about this before where sometimes in the morning I'm sort of overwhelmed by choice. And a brilliant way for me to recognize my own rhythm and then create a life hack around that was to recognize I need to create my MITs the night before. And what's great about that is it helps me get really excited about the next day. So I have this pad of paper next to me that I can wake up to and be like, oh, right, that's what I'm doing today. That's what I'm going to get out of bed for. And this is what I'm like focused on doing for today. So recognizing that you want to maybe integrate some self-care could be that your MITs literally look like, I'm going to wake up and do my morning pages, and then I'm going to knock out this awesome creative project I've been wanting to do. Or even some people actually find that if you have one of, say, like the couple tasks that you're wanting to take care of that day, that you can put the first one that you don't really want to do first so that you can get it out of the way, and then the next day you're able, the rest of the day, you're able just to like dive into that creative flow. Another life hack that you guys may have heard of, which I just love, is the Pomodoro method. And that's where if you're just finding that first task maybe that you're wanting to get to, that you're just really having such a hard time doing, or you've been procrastinating on a while, but you know you'll feel so good when it's done. This is like that, going back to that emotional clutter. If you know you want to take care of that, set that timer and dive in. And when you set it for just 20 minutes, you can find that you'll just, next thing you know, you're in the flow. However, note that that doesn't always work that way. I actually have a funny story that the first time I used the Pomodoro method, the timer went off and I found myself in my kitchen making a snack and pouring a glass of wine. So it's recognizing that you're probably, like, it was on a project that I was just procrastinating on so big time because I didn't feel like I knew how to do it, and it was just like bringing up all of my stuff. But I was like, you know what? Okay. That's hilarious, but 20 more minutes, here we go. And I set the timer again, and again at the end of 20 minutes, I still wasn't in it. And that day, it was so tough for me to get in the flow of this project that I had so much like fear or weirdness around, that it took me like 3 times with the Pomodoro method to just keep setting it to 20, keep setting it to 20. Hopefully you guys won't have that too much of a tricky time, because I find that the more I have used that method, the more I'm a little bit like, okay, we're doing this. I'm gonna just clear everything else out and help me get into this. So hopefully you guys can use that. Even if you have something set on your schedule, that's a really great thing because sometimes for me, being creative, I like freedom, right? I don't want anyone to be telling me what to do, even my calendar. And we're not robots, you know, and most of you guys are very creative. And so we can't sometimes be like, okay, it's 10 o'clock, I'm going to do this thing now. And so a really helpful thing might be that you have a little bit of a routine. I know a few of you have said you have a routine. You make a cup of tea, or you get yourself a new glass of water, whatever that may be, but set that timer and be like, okay, okay, I made this commitment to myself for this time slot. I have an hour. Let's dive into it and use the most of it. And if usually, it's way better that if it's 10:20 and you're in it than it is that it's like already 11 o'clock and you've just been like, and then you've wasted it and it doesn't make you feel good and your task didn't get any headway. And so hopefully all those things will help you stay connected. Recognizing your rhythms and scheduling them in, and then see how you can create some life hacks. I would love to hear if any of you guys have routines, other ways that you have found helpful through this process that help you stay connected, help you, do this work, or maybe if any of you guys are actually doing the work and then celebrating in some way, that can be a really fabulous thing. I know for me, just taking the hike or doing the yoga is such a celebration in and of itself. But I think that there's something to be said for just recognizing that. And actually, that's a really, really great part about putting things on the calendar. I even color code mine a different color. I have personal is one color, and then work is one color, and clients are another color. And so I highly encourage, if you do have some kind of a calendaring system, iCal or Google Cal, you could do them as different colors. And then what's nice about that is you're able to see at the end of the week how many of those, maybe green or purple, whatever color you do, that you've actually, that's like such this sign that you've been spending time with your creativity or your self-care. And also calendaring is such a great way of just really rooting it in reality. We all have very busy lives and we have a lot of obligations. And I think that we can set ourselves up for failure sometimes by being like, I'm going to do yoga 3 times this week. And we've failed to actually look to see how that's going to actually fit into our calendar. So it's realistic on both sides for the planning ahead of time and then being able to look back and actually celebrate your successes. So good luck staying connected. We've got one more day tomorrow and we'll be having our final live call, and we hope you can make it. Thanks so much.